from your exposures to asbestos because perhaps it's just too difficult or too much to handle right now. Hi, I'm Joe Williams. I'm a mesothelioma trial attorney in New York City, and I'd like to talk to you about the stresses that a client faces when dealing with a diagnosis of mesothelioma. This diagnosis is a terrifying diagnosis. The doctor sits you down and perhaps after a biopsy talks about this bizarre word, mesothelioma, that you probably never heard before, and perhaps tells you about what it is and what can happen and all of the very fearful things that you could be in for as a victim of mesothelioma. And perhaps the very last thing in the world you're thinking about is, well, let me pursue a legal case related to my asbestos exposure. And my response to you is, I totally understand. A lot of my clients say the same thing, and it's a very normal reaction. And what I tell my clients, and I've had many clients say this to me, and what I always tell them is, as the lawyers who for a living every day represent victims of asbestos exposure, persons who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, at least half of our task is focused on taking those stresses away from you, handling your case in such a way so that it doesn't stress you out, not bothering you with all the minute details and stressors that you don't need in your daily life. Things like a deposition. That sounds like a horribly daunting thing to have to go through. Well, in most mesothelioma depositions that we do, we either go to the victim's home or we do the deposition in a hotel conference room right near their house so that they don't have to travel. Because traveling for someone who's sick is very difficult. And it's really the last thing you want to do is get in a car or a car service and travel out to a lawyer's office. And in my circumstance, my office in New York City. Things like signing papers. In a normal case, clients travel to the lawyer's office. In a mesothelioma case, the lawyer for a mesothelioma victim understands what the victim is going through. We go to you. The lawyers go to your house. We sit with you and talk about your concerns and your problems. Medical bills, these kinds of things stress out the family members and the victim themselves, all these medical bills that pile up. Well, it's important to have a process in place to deal with the bills from Medicare and to deal with the bills as they pile up. And to know that in a mesothelioma case, one of the claims in the case is for repayment of those very medical bills. So the point I'm trying to make is that having a legal case to address your legal rights for being diagnosed with mesothelioma can actually help reduce the stress that you're under, because many of those stressors can be taken away from you and handled by the law firm. We're here to help you. I'm sure you have many questions on how a mesothelioma case is handled. We can answer those questions. I'm Joe Williams. We represent mesothelioma victims every day. I invite you to call my firm at the number below. We'll answer your questions. Thank you.